Hey yo, let's keep it real. You know they say the truth shall set you free. Well, let's be honest here. How many people, comment down below, have been guilty of judging a book by its cover, quote unquote, whether it be a TV show, a comic book, a manga, an anime? You've probably had one time or another where you looked at something, whether it be the cover of a new manga that you haven't checked out yet, a frame from a TV episode, whatever the case may be, and you've probably said something along the lines of, oh, that doesn't look all that hype, like, what's going on here, or wow, that's straight up trash, or the common one that they love to use on the interwebs today, it's mid!
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
And while they more so use that term for writing, ultimately, it kind of goes along the lines of what I'm saying, that you've probably judged the book by its cover, despite the fact that we've been told the exact opposite throughout time of, yo dog, it's what's on the inside, you know what I'm saying? You can't really judge a book by its cover, you gotta read the book before you make your assessment. That's why, for example, you go to a review and you listen to somebody, whether it's first 3 episodes, to see, oh shoot, maybe I should give this anime a try. This person recommended it. It might not have that appeasing art style that I'm looking for, but you never know. The story could actually be good. I can give you another example of something of where I've been guilty of it. The fact of 3D CGI. I've been guilty, and y'all already know how much I've spoken about it, of like Dragon Ball Superhero leading into the film's release. I've been very adamant of, yo, I don't want that 3D CG, despite the fact that it is indeed an art form in and of itself, whether you want to admit it or not. Ultimately, 3D CG is art. It's just something that we're not really all that enthusiastic about, and more so we prefer it, at the very least I do, in our video games. Like, I'm fine with it in a video game, whether it be a AAA title, an anime title, whatever the case may be. Yeah, 3D CG it up, as long as it looks good, why not? And even the fact that I just said as long as it looks good. What does looks good even mean? Because if we're just keeping it real, I could name you a ton of manga that have some really bad art, or people look at it as, yikes, the art is just whoa. And likewise with anime, I mean, for starters, yo dog, how many people have absolutely desecrated on the Berserk 2016 anime? People say it's trash, it's straight up garbage, it looks horrible, the 3D CG is just outright bad. And while I have been on board with certain arguments, again, like I just said, of 3D CG being terrible, I was actually one of the very few people that said the story of Berserk is so freaking rich and amazing, I'm kind of okay with trudging through the visuals of the 3D CG of Berserk. Because dog, like, alone, I could tell you right now, one of the manga that is considered a damn near masterpiece, people say it's one of the greatest shonen manga of all time, I could list right now at the very least, or show you on this screen, 3, 4, 5, 6 crazy pages that you're like, oh, did a 5-year-old draw this? Like, what the hell is going on? Because Hunter x Hunter has been notorious for being kind of a series that occasionally there will be a page or two where the art will be absolute dog crap, or even a chapter or two. I remember there was something in, I want to say it was the Chimera Ant arc, like a koala based chapter, looked absolutely horrible. There's that infamous page of Gon, he's like waving and he's just literally like damn near stick figures. Like, there's been times where Hunter x Hunter has looked absolutely horrible. Another instance of, yo, the art not being up to par and actually something getting slighted, thankfully, you know, the universe was like, nah, that's not gonna happen, is if it was solely up to art, Attack on Titan would not exist today, because Hajime Isayama, back in the days before he got serialized with Besatsu Shonen magazine, he brought Attack on Titan to Weekly Shonen Jump. And granted, while I believe some of their argument was about the story or whatever, one of the biggest things is that early on, Hajime Isayama's art wasn't all that good. Honestly, a lot of people, and again I say that, wasn't all that good. What does that mean? Because if we're being realistic, art is subjective, just like damn near any opinion you can have and anything you could look at that is abstract, whatnot, music or whatever. If we all were raised on, right now, from the time we were born up until now, that art more so looking like the stick figures that we get in Hunter x Hunter or early Attack on Titan is the best type of art, and it's been instilled and programmed in us of that's what we're supposed to be aiming for, then that's what we would consider beauty and the greatest thing in the world. It's literally all based on perception when it comes to good or bad art. Likewise with even storytelling. If right now one of the biggest things that is told to us throughout our life is, hey, the bad guy winning and, you know, killing everybody is the best storytelling, every story will follow suit. Hence why every story usually ends with the good guy winning, and we're probably shocked or straight up going nuts when it's like, yo, the bad guy won. It's just something totally different. That's where you get a series series like Death Note, for example, where to a certain degree you could throw the argument, the bad guy kind of won for a time being. At the very least, he beat his arch nemesis, and that was just sick and dope to see in and of itself, a twisting and turning of the proper narrative storytelling. One of the biggest cases of, oh my god, how did that happen, was if you've ever read the original version, not the serialized one that is in Weekly Shonen Jump, I believe, over here in North America, and it's a seinen manga, and now it's being done by Yusuke Murata, the art, the original One Punch Man manga by One. He started off posting that stuff on I believe it was like a forum over there in Japan, and if you looked at the art of the original One Punch Man manga, well, granted, one got better over time, ultimately it started off looking like straight up chaos, and I don't mean that in the most flattering ways at all. It was some dude that was very passionate and ultimately said, yo, I'm gonna do my manga, I don't care if I don't know how to draw the greatest right now, I'll get better. And he did. If you go and read Mob Psycho 100, the art is One's, and it's way more refined now. He improved, and that's another thing of, yo, there's also room for improvement. Now granted, something like Hunter x Hunter, you're probably thinking like, and reality is Togashi's probably not going to change it much. Granted, he might have gotten a lot of backlash, so he'll try and be a little bit more, precise on, hey, maybe I shouldn't put out stick figures or a koala that's like a dot and a square around it or some shit like that. Like, maybe he'll, think twice, but ultimately there's supposed to be room for improvement. And just in general, going back to the whole crux of this whole thing, we claim don't judge a book by its cover, but that's seemingly all we do. From literature to music to even relationships, one of the first things, if not the first thing, 99.9% of people do when they're looking to find a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a wife, a husband, whatever it is that you're after, is you immediately look at their face. You immediately look at what they look like right here, which again is just like, hey, I've been told that X, Y, and Z, symmetry is the best version of, what I'm supposed to be after, what I'm supposed to be attracted to, and boom. And I know a lot of people are thinking like, yo, that's not how it works, I'm attracted to... No, you have been told something from early on that, hey, this is the way life is, this is the standard of beauty, so to speak, and that's what you ultimately are going to internalize. And it's crazy because, like, yo, you could date some of the most beautiful people in the world and have the most miserable time of your life if that person's beauty inward doesn't match outward. And the same is said with a manga, an anime, or anything of the sort. I mean, there's people that till this day refuse, absolutely, vehemently say, hells no, I am not checking out One Piece because they don't like the art style. And granted, One Piece, Oda has never really had like, oh, the art is bad. They just in general think that the art style is wacky or childish, or just in general they shit on it and say the art isn't good. And one more time I'm gonna add, what does that mean? One Piece has definitely early on, at the very least you could throw the argument, been a lot more rubbery, a lot more rounded, a lot more wackier. The colors are brighter, where you go to a series like a Bleach and a Naruto where it's more like edgier, a little bit more grittier, especially when you go to Shippuden and later on in Bleach, like they really were trying to go for grit, while One Piece has, even when it goes a little bit quote unquote edgy, still kept its kind of lighthearted feel. And a lot of people unfortunately don't like lighthearted feels, don't like bright colors popping off everywhere, don't like people smiling a lot even in the face of adversity and shit like that. And that's not to say that Naruto and Bleach don't do that, smiling in the face of adversity and all that stuff. I'm just saying that One Piece, that's literally everything that it embodies. And if something as great and grandiose that any One Piece fan can attest to, like One Piece, can be criticized for, hey, yo, I can't check it out because of his art, despite the fact that we all know One Piece is godlike, the writing can at times be absolutely amazing, it goes to say that we have a problem. And not only, of course, the anime and manga world, but you could even throw the argument of society. People look at things and pretend like, yeah, I don't judge things by... No, you do. you do. That's the reason why when you go to, for example, Barnes and Noble and you pick up a manga, one of the things is you look at the cover. You check out the cover 9 times out of 10. Granted, there's the exceptions, but you're not going to sit there and read through the whole damn book. At the very least, you may read a synopsis, and then that might give you an idea, but a synopsis is also just a dressed up cover, because you could get very vague with a synopsis. Like right now, for example, Naruto. Let me give you a synopsis. Some crazy ass ninja stuff. Yo, dog, you don't even know. Media's dropping. Shit is intense. And while that is inside there is like a million other ways that you could describe it. Knuckle-headed boy goes from zero to hero, a rags to riches story. A synopsis is essentially another type of cover, just in words and letters. And by now I know I probably lost a ton of people because I'm really diving down the rabbit hole of not judging a book by its covers, but I say all this to say that, yeah, you really shouldn't. And despite the fact that a lot of people say they don't, they really do. That's how oftentimes you find your spouse. That's how you pick a book that you're gonna read. That's how you check out a show, is we judge by looks. And you're gonna have a hard time in your life if that's all you think about. I couldn't imagine my life if I would have only picked, hey, this looks appeasing to the eye, so that's what I want to roll with, when in fact it's normally the exact opposite, where the art might not be the most interesting, the art might not be the most grandiose and perfect symmetry, but the story will just grab me. And I'm always going to be one of the people of nice art is beautiful, and I will always admire nice art. I'm more so of a story guy. I can enjoy Berserk 2016 despite the fact that the visuals are very off-putting, because the story of Berserk is amazing. I can check out One Punch Man manga that I read in its entirety because I was like, yo, it's good. Attack on Titan, I was a day one reader. I started reading that bad boy back when they was releasing the English volumes over here in the West. Art was like, I still loved it. So I guess I'll wrap this one off with saying you should really do a little more research into the things that you choose to indulge in, and not simply go based off face value, because if you go based off face value, you're gonna lose, or at the very least it might not go according to plan. Look inward. That's all I have for this one. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day, and remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in. And yeah, I gotta say it one more time. I just have to say it. What does that mean when you judge a book by its cover? Oh, this was a fun video to make, and I hope you got something out of it. Have an awesome one, lads. Yeah. Oh, you should totally subscribe.
You